So Dennis, thank you for joining me today. Firstly, I'm going to take you back to your time with Manchester United. Looking back on those 12 years, what were some of your favourite moments in red?
Gee, I was lucky really that the first year I got there, we beat Barcelona in the Cup Winners' Cup, my very first season. Winning the Premier League in 92-93. It taken 26 years since the last won the league title, Manchester United. So that was huge. And in '99, I suppose, would take some beating, winning the treble, and the way we did it as well. Under a great manager with some fantastic players. So I'm kind of spoiled for choice, to be honest, because you always remember your first big trophy. But '99 would take some beating, and luckily enough, it still goes down in folklore of Manchester United's history.
Yeah. I mean, just talk to me a bit about that game. Obviously, the first English club to win the treble, of course, and in the manner that you did it. What was your emotions like before that game, and was there ever any doubt in the team, or did you always know that you was always going to secure the treble?
Well, no, you never know for certain, and we were a tired team at the time, and we were missing our two best players, in my opinion, Roy Keane and Paul Scholes, coming up against a very good Bayern Munich side. But what we had a great team spirit, a great desire to go right to the end. I think that probably came from the manager and the way he was. But we had great belief in ourselves, and we always knew that there was goals in the team. And if you look back in the previous 6 months prior to that, where we never lost a game and came from behind and won in the last minute, I suppose it was in the DNA of the team and of the football club, really. So you always have to have belief in yourself. But I got to say, I was utter relief when we won it, and the way we won it as well, because again, it had been 31 years since the last one, the old European Cup, so it was long overdue. And to be known as a great team, you have to win the Champions League as well. So it was a magical 10 days culminating in that fantastic finish in Camp Nou.
Yeah. And what was Sir Alex Ferguson like? I mean, there's so many stories about him and how he was for Man United. What was he like to you as an individual, and how much did he help that team in tough moments?
Well, to me, first of all, he was incredible, really. He trusted in me. The first year I went there, I played right back. The following 11 years, I played left back. He's obviously, as a manager, you have to have certain assets to your boy, I suppose. And the one thing I'd say is that when he came in '86, he had a good vision for the football club. He created a great environment. The communication was very good with him. Hard work was a given. He created a great team spirit. I think the best thing he had was he knew how to handle each player individually, whether they needed an arm around the shoulder or a little clip in the air. So you put all that together, and what was probably the best manager there's ever been, and the longevity of being able to stay there and win 13 Premier League titles and a couple of European Cups. It was incredible, really. But yeah, he drove us. Probably one of the big reasons why we won the Champions League, because he'd always want to keep going right to the end. He'd always take a little bit of a risk as well by putting an extra forward on. So a great manager to play under, really was. And obviously in his time there, the way the game of football changes, he's had to probably have 3, 4, 5 different teams, different kind of teams at Manchester United, and he's been able to do that.
Yeah. And just going on to when you joined Wolves, obviously on a free transfer, and obviously by the time you join the club, obviously you've got former teammate Paul Ince around as well. How much did he help you coming into Wolves, and how did you feel to join the club at the time?
Well, I was in before Ince, actually. I just signed before him. I was a Wolves kid, a fan growing up in Ireland. So when I did finish playing at Manchester United at 36, I just wanted one more year, and luckily enough, Wolves came calling. So I was delighted. Had an unbelievable first year, obviously getting promoted back to the Premier League. And a second year at Wolves, which was obviously a bit harder. But I loved my time there. I certainly I was the senior statesman at the football club. There was plenty of experienced players in there. Paul Ince being one of them, who I had 5 years with at Manchester United, and he went off to Inter Milan and Liverpool, and came back. and I know how good a player Paul was, and I think the manager just wanted a bit of experience because the year before they'd just fallen short, and I think we gave him that experience, and it was a certainly long ride in 02 and 03, but I look back on it now and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah. And who would you say the toughest opponent is that you came up against in your playing career?
Yeah, it's not an easy one, that just to label one player that you come up with, because there's different kind of wingers. John Barnes was brilliant, I got to say that, in the late 80s and 90s. But two kind of stick in mind. Two foreign players, Hadji from Romania, but the one who was top was Stoichkov, Bulgarian, played for Barcelona, incredible player. Probably before his time, left-footer playing on the right wing, he'd certainly be very much in demand now, and a fantastic player, but a great goal scorer, quick, sharp, aggressive as well for a winger, which was very rare back then. Could look after himself, and probably still is Bulgaria's best footballer in history. So he'd certainly keep you on your toes, and you certainly need your teammates to help you out when you come up against a player of that quality.
Yeah. And final question: using players that you've played with, what would be your five-a-side team?
Well, if you include a keeper, I'd have to have Big Smikes. Yeah. I certainly have Roy and Robbo in there, because they were two fantastic players, two really aggressive players, very similar to each other. Probably have Yap Stam at the back, and probably Rude to stick the goals in, something like that. That'd be my five-a-side team, I think. Good defensively, but also could score goals going forward.
Brilliant. Once again, thank you for your time.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.